Hey y'all, welcome back. Welcome back. It is me, BrittReacts, and we are going to start a new animated series via a subscriber suggestion. Someone wanted me to react to The Simpsons. I've never watched an episode of The Simpsons. Who's surprised? You shouldn't be. And they told me specifically to start with the Simpsons predictions, because apparently the Simpsons predict things like that actually happen in non-animated life. So I found a video that says 15 uncanny Simpson predictions that came true. Let's see if that's true or not. And before we get started, make sure you're following me on social media. Okay.
15 Simpsons predictions that came true. Number 15, Lady Gaga Super Bowl halftime show, season 23, episode 22. In the second episode of The Simpsons' 23rd season, the special guest star was Lady Gaga, who performed for the town while hovering in midair. Whether this inspired Gaga or not, this came uncannily true just 5 years later when she performed at the Super Bowl. She began by standing on the roof of the Houston NRG Stadium as she sang her opening song, and then, as the show continued, she flew down to the stage below with the assistance of wires, virtually in precisely the same way as she had done in Springfield. It remains one of the most acrobatic shows to ever take place at the Super Bowl, and was probably all thanks to The Simpsons. Number 14, the U.S.
Okay. All right. First of all, I'm bugging out because the synchronicity of this, I was just at the nail salon. I got new nails. Hey, cute nails, cute nails. And we were all talking about Gaga and Beyonce's collabs, their songs, Telephone and y'all know. And so the fact that now Gaga's popping up on my screen is crazy. Okay. I guess my questions are The Simpsons predicting things, or are we copying The Simpsons? Because if it was a 5-year difference, that means the NFL knew about this. And they were like, let's do that. I don't know. That's wild to me. The Trump escalator thing was wild too. It's like, it's not far-fetched to think it could happen, but the fact that an animated series is putting it out years before it happens does feel kind of crazy. All right, now I think we're on to curling. I know this is curling. I learned this after watching the Winter Olympics. Do I understand it? No.
Curling victory, season 21, episode 12.
How many seasons are there?
While the Olympics are open to representatives from every country in the world
look
to
how
take
cool
part
that
in,
is.
there are
What
some
the heck?
sports that some nations are so good at that it's a surprise if they don't take home the gold.
Canada?
One of these that happens at the Winter Olympics is curling, when the Swedes are almost always the favorites for the event. In the 12th episode of season 21 from 2010, Homer and Marge travel to the Vancouver Olympics, where they compete against Sweden in curling. Despite falling behind, they managed to cause an upset and win in the end. In 2018, life imitated art, and the U.S. men's team won in exactly the same way, only the second time ever that they had medaled in the event.
Oh, so Sweden
Number 13,
was not... Okay,
Disney.
That's wild. So the show happened and then Sweden... I mean, it's all going to be that, right? The show first, but like... Yeah, can you... I don't see how you can like choreograph curling. Have y'all seen curling? Oh, wow. I'm also really sorry. I'm super congested. I don't know if it's sinus or cold, but just stay safe and wash your hands, friends. If you're new here and you're like, how has this girl never watched The Simpsons? I will explain it again like I do at the beginning of every animated series. I grew up extremely religious. I was raised by a very religious woman, and my stepfather at the time was a youth leader. These type of things were not allowed. I didn't celebrate Halloween. I wasn't allowed to celebrate it. I couldn't even color a Halloween sheet of paper in school. My mother would send a note and tell them to move me to a different class if there was any Halloween activities. Okay. That should give you the scope of like just how religious we grew up. Like, it wasn't a controlling environment, but there were just things that we weren't allowed to consume because they were not, reflective of my Southern missionary Baptist upbringing. And so, do I know what The Simpsons are? Yes, I can actually name all the characters. Homer, Marge, Bart, and Lisa. Those are the four main characters. Am I missing somebody? I can name them because like they're so embedded in American culture, but like never watched an episode. Never, I know nothing. So this is interesting to me. And is it to my understanding that The Simpsons are still airing new seasons? Like, what season are they on? That's wild.
Purchase of Fox, Season 10, Episode 5.
Season 10, Episode
Disney has become
5.
one of the most powerful entertainment companies in the world and often buy out their competitors. When, in an episode from 1998, Homer goes to pitch a film idea to executives at Fox, it said beneath the company logo that it was a division of Disney. Most people thought it to be just a joke and that something like this would never happen. They were, of course, wrong. And in another example of The Simpsons predicting the future, Disney purchased the conglomerate in 2017 for a price of over $52 billion.
That was like almost, they said that happened in 1998 and then 2017, so like 20 years later. Almost 20 years later.
Bringing franchises like X-Men, Avatar, and The Simpsons under the control of the House of Mouse.
The House of Mouse. I'm concerned. What do they know that we don't know?
Number 12, President Trump, Season 11, Episode 17. In the episode titled Bart to the Future, which was first aired in 2000, we see what the future of The Simpsons was like, with Lisa as the president in the White House and Bart as a failed musician. The idea behind the episode was that the vision was warning to Bart.
Oh, yeah, the baby. What is the baby's name? I feel like the baby's name is the baby's name. Hold on, let me go back and look at the baby. Hold on. I know the characters. I do. Homer, Marge. Is it Maggie? I feel her name is Maggie. Is her name Maggie?
As a failed musician. The idea behind the episode was that the vision was warning to Bart that he needed to change his ways to prevent wasting his life. But were the Simpsons writers instead warning us, the viewers, of something else? In a meeting, Lisa mentions that the country had been left in quite a financial mess thanks to President Trump. Again, something that most people wrote off as being a joke, but one that became all too real in November of 2016 when Donald Trump won the presidential election. Number 11, Censoring Art, Season 2, Episode 9.
Season 2.
One of the earliest Simpsons predictions to come true was broadcast in 1990. The ninth episode of the second season showed how residents...
If in 90 we were on Season 2, and we're now... The 90s was 36 years ago. 1990 was 36 years ago. How many seasons?
...of Springfield protested the displaying of Michelangelo's David because of the nudity and insisted that it was covered up.
They put jeans on it?
Fast forward more than 25 years, and that's exactly what happened in St. Petersburg in Russia. A 16-foot-tall plastic replica of the world-famous statue was put up on show in the center of the city. Following complaints by parents and residents, and a poll was conducted to decide which clothes, if any, should be put on the statue to make it more appropriate.
Graphic.
Number 10, Horsemeat Scandal, Season 5, Episode 19. The quality of school dinners is always questionable, and in a 1994 episode...
Who's eating dinner at school? Who's eating dinner from the cafeteria lady at school? Please stop. I think he meant to say lunch. School dinner? Call the police. Call the police.
The quality of school dinners is always questionable, and in a 1994 episode of The Simpsons from Season 5, Lunch Lady Doris is dealing with a reduced budget and resorts to adding assorted horse parts to the meals in place of the meat she'd normally use. It turned out that this isn't as unusual as you may want to think. In 2013, a scandal took hold across Europe as it was discovered that horse meat was being used in products that had claimed they contained beef. At least 4.5 million pre-prepared dishes such as lasagna, chili, and burgers were sold throughout 13 countries and contained, in some cases, only horse meat. They were sold in supermarkets, given to patients in hospitals, and to children in schools, and was one of the biggest food hygiene scandals of recent times. Now, much more stringent checks are in place to prevent it from happening again, but they probably should have just watched The Simpsons instead. Number 9, the Higgs boson particle, Season 8, Episode 1.
The what particle?
The proof that the existence of the Higgs boson particle required the construction of the largest machine mankind has ever built, and was hailed as one of the greatest scientific discoveries of the last decade. But was all this effort actually needless, and all researchers needed was to watch an episode of The Simpsons? In the first episode of Season 8, Homer becomes an inventor and is surprisingly good at math.
They just be doing stuff. How y'all at the Olympics curling and he's an inventor? Y'all just be doing stuff.
The show is known for hiding equations and ideas within the scripts, but at one point on a blackboard is a seemingly random equation. Now looking back, physicists say that this writing is actually a remarkably close description of the mass of a Higgs boson, and only works out to be a fraction larger than the true measurement that was made in the super collider at CERN. For the Simpsons to have got there 15 years earlier seems almost impossible to believe.
That's insane.
Number 8. Nobel Prize winner. Season 22, Episode 1. The writers of The Simpsons have always had a close affinity to science, but this prediction shows just how Nobel Prize winner always had a...
Conan is in this picture. Conan was a writer on The Simpsons?
Close affinity to science, but this prediction shows just how on the pulse they actually are. When Season 22 premiered in 2010, Martin, Lisa, Milhouse, and a database make a betting pool for who they think will win the Nobel Prizes in each category that year. All of these are real people who are active in their respective fields, but incredibly in 2016, one of them did actually win. Bengt Holmstrom from MIT was a joint winner of the Economics Prize, thanks to his work on contract theory and ideas of how to determine what should be government-owned and what should be controlled by private interests.
Wow.
Lisa was probably very upset with the announcement of this because the others are yet to win, and this presumably makes Milhouse a true future visionary. Number 7. Three-eyed fish.
I was just about to say, does that fish have 3 eyes? All right, the whole episode is about 3 eyes. Is there a real fish somewhere with 3 eyes? I put my hood up, y'all. My neck is cold. It's cold in the buff today. It's cold.
Season 2, Episode 4. One of the most famous episodes of The Simpsons from the second season was the one where Bart captures a fish in the pond near the nuclear power plant. Named Blinky, this fish had 3 eyes and led to the citizens of Springfield leading protests about the pollution being released into the environment. Luckily, mutations like this are extremely rare, but not unheard of. In 2011, a fisherman in Cordoba, Argentina, caught his very own Blinky from a reservoir near a nuclear power plant. It was a species of wolffish, and at first, he and his friends didn't notice because it was too dark. The next day, though, the reality became all too clear, and they couldn't decide whether they would eat it or not. It turned out that not only was this reservoir near the plant, but there was also a water outlet pipe that led straight into it, proving yet again that the Simpsons had the foresight to see.
Y'all gonna eat a radioactive fish? You're gonna be shooting out lightning out of your butthole. Ew, there's no decision. Put it back. What the heck? That's the ugliest thing I've ever seen in my life. I'm so sorry. God bless it, but no. So the Simpsons seem to be very like smart. I don't know, like we're talking about science. Like that's crazy. Wow.
What could happen in places like this?
Amazing. Y'all, is this real? Like true?
Number 6. Smartwatches. Season 6, Episode 19.
So that was in the 90s.
The 19th episode of Season 6 saw the Simpsons visiting a Renaissance fair. Lisa soon found herself in the fortune teller's tent, and this set up another episode that was set in the future. It's difficult for most shows to show technology that will be around many years from now, but on this occasion, The Simpsons managed to get it spot on. One of the characters is seen using a watch that flips open and that he can talk into. It responds back to him with the information he needs, in what appears to be a premonition of the development of smartwatches. This episode aired in 1995, which is almost 20 years before the so-called Year of the Smartwatch in 2014. Now they're commonly seen across the country and are probably proudly owned by whichever Simpsons writer came up with this idea back in the 90s.
Wow, I'm gobsmacked. How? This is just an example of like, if you can think it, you can will it. Like all of these things were not without or not within the power of thought. And if you can think something, my therapist told me one time, she said, if you can think it, if you can envision it, you can see it, you can make it happen. And so maybe it's just that, like these writers are so visionary, like they just have the ability to like think big and bigger than maybe most of us. That like they're thinking about these things well before we're thinking they're possible. I don't know. This is wild. Like, how do you deny this? How do you deny this? This is wild. I'm gonna start filming like this all the time. I feel important.
5. Siegfried and Roy Tiger. Season 5, Episode 10.
This?
Siegfried and Roy were once one of the world's leading magic acts, famed for performing with tigers, and headlined at the Mirage Resort and Casino for over a decade in what was described as the most visited show in Nevada. Because of their notoriety, they featured in the 5th season of The Simpsons, in an episode that was broadcast in 1993, which began with the news that Springfield had legalized gambling. Homer took on a job as a blackjack dealer in Mr. Burns' new casino, and in the auditorium there was a magic act that parodied Siegfried and Roy's routine.
Smoking a pipe?
While performing, however, they were mauled by one of their white tigers, and tragically this event came to pass in real life just 10 years later. During a performance in 2003, Roy was
that one doesn't feel like that was too hard to see coming. Like, that tiger was only going to put up with that for so long.
attacked by one of their white tigers called Montecore. It grabbed him by the neck while on stage and dragged him into the wings like he was a rag doll. Despite losing a large quantity of blood, he survived the incident, but suffered from life-changing injuries that meant he'd never be able to perform the same way again. Following this, the duo produced a show based on their act called Father of the Pride, and returned to the stage a few years later for several one-off shows before officially retiring from show business in 2010. Before we move on, be sure to subscribe to Top 5s with notifications on.
It's a good channel.
Number 4, The Shard, Season 6, Episode 19.
What's that? What's The Shard?
Due to their unique designs, city skylines around the world are instantly recognizable. If you think of New York or Paris, there are certain buildings that you would expect to see in a drawing of them. But in an episode from 1995, the Simpsons animators appear to have got London extremely wrong. The Season 6 episode, which was set in the future, showed Big Ben and Tower Bridge, but there was a peculiarly shaped skyscraper further to the left that looked like no building in the city at all. That was until 14 years later when plans were submitted and accepted for a new structure called the Shard. Now completed, it's the tallest building in London and offers views across the entire city. It's known for having an unusual design, particularly at the top where it only looks half finished.
That's crazy.
But this seems almost exactly how it was shown in the Simpsons episode all those years before. Not only does the structure look just like the Shard, but its position in London is virtually identical in the cartoon to where it was built in real life too. Either the owners of it took inspiration from the show, the Simpson producers had seen the plans way ahead of time, or it's more proof that they have a knack for predicting the future like no one else.
What do y'all think it was, A, B, or C?
Number 3, FIFA Corruption Scandal, Season 25, Episode 16. In the 16th episode of the 25th season, which was broadcast in 2014, Lisa gave a
Say God bless you in the comments right now. Right now. Thank you. Thank you.
Speech to her classmates in which she talks about Homer and mentions that there was a time when he gave her a red card and sent her off from a soccer game that he was refereeing. A video of this speech went viral and led to Homer being called by FIFA, the world governing body for the sport, to referee some matches in the World Cup in Brazil. The reason they needed his help was that they had found themselves short-handed after finding out about massive corruption in the sport, and Homer goes on to do a good job and sees the German team winning the tournament. In this episode, the show actually managed to get 2 predictions spot on. The first was that Germany did win the World Cup that very same year, and the second was that the following year FIFA became embroiled within one of the biggest cases of corruption in recent times.
I didn't know this.
Staff from across the organization, including those at the top of the sport, were arrested and sacked for allegations of bribery, fraud, and money laundering, and it sent shockwaves throughout world sport. Luckily, though, it has never quite led them to needing to hire a dad from Springfield to officiate any of their high-profile games.
Right.
Number 2, Faulty Voting Machines, Season 20, Episode 4. The Simpsons have never shied away from highlighting social injustices and commenting on our reliance on technology, and the 4th episode of the 20th season again managed to predict the future with frightening accuracy. It was a Treehouse of Horrors special, and during the opening scene, Homer has gone to vote. He's at the machine and is trying to select Barack Obama, but it always registers the vote for John McCain instead. He tries to vote 6 times, including once where he presses McCain's name in the hope that it selects Obama. But in the end, he's forced to give up because no matter what he did, the vote always ended up showing the same.
This is wild. When I lived in Georgia, I lived near one of the polls where this was happening, and it was devastating. It was devastating. They were like closing the polls early. There was all type of stuff going on. So if you think that's not real, I mean, okay.
Not wanting to cast a vote like this, he heads off to report it so it can be fixed. But the machine didn't want him to reveal the secret. It sucked him in, killed him, and then spat out again before Jasper puts an I voted sticker on his forehead.
What?
Strangely,
Jasper.
This wasn't too far from what would happen just 4 years later, and there are concerns it may be more common than anyone realizes. In the 2012 election, when Obama was up for his second term, a video emerged from Pennsylvania. In it, a man was trying to vote for the incumbent president, but whenever he did, it would instead select Mitt Romney. When asked for comment, representatives from the Republican Party claimed that the opposite had been reported happening too, and it understandably raised some concerns about the accuracy of the machines. Those who encountered the problem said that everything had worked fine if they tried to vote for someone else, and that it would only happen if they selected Obama's name, which made them further suspicious of why this was happening. The voter who recorded the video eventually found one part of the screen he could touch that would register it properly, and was
So the screen was miscalibrated? Is that what? Okay.
apparently told by a poll worker that this means there wasn't any problem at all.
That's crazy.
Once the video went viral, however, the machine was removed to be recalibrated. But by this time, it's unclear how many votes had been affected. The Simpsons writers yet again predicted future issues that may be faced by the increasing use of technology in such important processes
What's
like
number
voting.
one?
And if people either don't trust that it's working properly or it actively registers your vote for someone else entirely, then it's a problem that goes to the heart of a democracy.
What's number one?
With recent concerns about the possibility that hackers from an enemy state might be able to access large numbers of these machines to affect the outcome of an election, this might be one Simpson prediction that comes true time and time again. Number 1. Donut-Shaped Universe. Season 10, Episode 22.
How is this true?
With such a love of math and science, it seemed only natural that one of the world's foremost physicists would make an appearance in The Simpsons. So when the writers found out that Stephen Hawking was going to guest star, they had an opportunity to put him in a room with the world's dumbest person.
Ugh.
While sat in Moe's tavern,
You mean to tell me Homer's more dumb than Peter? Peter Griffin? No way. No way.
drinking a beer, Hawking ended up admitting that your theory of a donut-shaped universe is intriguing. I may have to steal it. Just a few years later, new modeling of the universe's creation started to suggest that the donut theory might in fact be the case.
What?
Instead of being an infinite structure, it's now believed to be finite and continuously wraps back in on itself. A number of observations, such as unexpected ripples in the fabric of space-time, are pointing towards it, and means that possibly Homer is far more intelligent than anyone had given him credit for.
Your theory of a donut-shaped universe is intriguing, Homer. I may have to steal it.
Subscribe to Top 5s for more and check out some of our other popular videos.
Wow. All right. Well, if enough of you want me to start a series watching The Simpsons, I will absolutely do it. And I will start with the very first episode, which seems like it was either in 1990 or 1989, which means I was 1 year old. This is wild to me, guys. I'm like gobsmacked, shooketh. Whoa. Okay. Let me know your thoughts. Again, make sure you follow me on social media and go and have the day you deserve. Bye.